Welcome to episode 87 of the current Backloggers. The date is January 2nd. I'm your host, KCP, along with my good friend and co-host, Cody G. Cody, how's it going?
Good. I like your enunciation on second.
I didn't realize I did that, but I believe you because I've been doing that jokingly lately because I fucking hate it.
Second.
How you been, buddy? It's been a couple weeks now.
Good. Just living the holidays, and right now just going through and organizing all of my cards from my childhood. I don't know if you guys can see this. This actually looks pretty clean, but you can see the other side of this desk. It's a mess. I'm doing Yu-Gi-Oh cards right now. It's a Blue Eyes White Dragon, MBD. It's a fucking mess, though. Look how audio listeners, this thing is destroyed.
That is a mess. It's not a Pokemon card.
I did Pokemon cards first.
Oh, okay.
I did just find a bunch more of my Pokemon cards. I will say cards are the one things, because there's no place to trade those in for money or new stuff. So I still have all my original cards. That's what I'm organizing.
You go to a card show.
I'm good, dude. I feel like the ones I'd want are way too expensive. And
Yeah.
Yu-Gi-Oh's not too expensive, though.
I mean, you're all about your conventions right now. You can just add card shows to it, too.
Ah, Jesus, man. I have a running list right now of conventions. And if I add one more thing to that. Toy shows are crazy, too, because they do them like... it's not unusual for them to take place twice a year, spring and the fall.
Mm-hmm.
They just keep adding them. Like I just saw Springfield, the one I just went to is the first one. They're already, for the spring show, they're going to double it and give it to the next person. So.
Well, I mean, in Springfield, I feel like you got to double it and go all out for spring, you know?
Oh, that makes sense, yeah.
How many do you have planned this year already?
I could tell you. Hold on, let's see. I don't think I can go to all of these, so I really want to. I know March is going to be litty. There's a couple in March I want to go to. Hold on. I got to find this doc. Here we go. So, March 10th, the Cleveland Comic Book and Nostalgia Show. March 17th, Columbus Toy and Game Show. And then March 30th is the Great Ohio Toy Show. That was my first one I ever went to. It's awesome. That's endless. That's like a flea market of toys. It's wild. And then Canton Akron Comic Book and Toy and Nostalgia Convention. I feel like these poor people are running out of ways to name their shit. The one I'm really most excited for is the Hartville Toy and Comic Show because it takes place in the Hartville flea market.
Mm-hmm.
When you're done with the toy show, you can walk around a flea market. I've been wanting to go to the Hartville flea market. And then we got QuirksCon, June 1st. I mean, granted, this list is gonna, as time goes on, these conventions will announce them, their dates and shit.
Mm-hmm.
I'll add to them, but there's probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. That's with Torg and Korg.
That is more than once a month. That's kind of crazy.
Oh yeah, you could. When that guy told me, the guy that got me hooked on the Facebook pages, when he's like, "I do this as a living. I don't even leave Ohio." I was like, "That's impossible." I discovered there's enough things going on in Ohio to. He might have been over exaggerating. He said there's probably 40 a year or something.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, a couple of these I'll probably not go to because I just threw them on here because I saw them.
Yeah, I
like
got you.
Matsuri-Con, I don't think I'll go to. That's like anime shit. Our friends have gone to it, so I considered it. And then there's the Buckeye Comic Con. That happens, I think this is on my list 2 or 3 times. 2 times, so 3 times, so I'll take that off. So that's automatically 14. That's just a bunch of comic guys get together and rent a bunch of hotel rooms and you go look at comics, but
Ran by my dog, of course.
That's right, dude. It's probably really like 15 shows I'll go to this year.
Okay. Not bad. Are you planning on filming all of these? Is that part of why you're wanting to go more?
Yeah.
You gotcha. Anything else you've been up to or want to talk about?
No, that's it.
Okay. Doing the normal work weeks, past couple weeks. Saw a couple movies in the theater, which I can talk about later when we get to that topic. Went to see comedian JP Sears with one of my friends. I know I told you about it. I went more for my friend than me. I've seen some of his stuff, and he used to mainly send me his stuff because he liked him a lot. And the stuff he sent me, I used to think was actually pretty funny and clever because he was mainly a political comedian, but I feel like he did really well at making fun of both sides and being clever with it. And now I feel like the conservative side worked for him way more, that he just fucking hammer in on that, as in like making fun of liberals, like he's conservative, which I care less either side. But I feel like it's a lot harder and I think funnier when you can make fun of both sides and be clever with it. I feel like it's a lot easier to just make fun of one side and not as funny. He still had some funny jokes in there. I wasn't offended by anything. I just thought it kind of gets old just hearing the same things over and over. But it was still a good time. The guy that opened for him, I probably should have looked up his name. I thought he was actually funnier than the headliner. But still a good time. And every time I go to stand-up, which isn't often, I remember how much I like it. And I'm like, man, I'm going to do this more often. And then a year passes and I see one more stand-up. So maybe I'll try and actually do that more this year. And then aside from that, mainly it's a whole lot of Christmas shit. It's been a couple weeks since we've done this. I did another Christmas with a group of friends. Did a gingerbread house decorating with Danielle's family. That's another Christmas thing I think is much better in theory every year that I do it. I fucking hate it because they never work and they always fall apart and just so fucking frustrating, and they don't taste good, and a lot of them are not even really supposed to eat. So that's a Christmas tradition that's fun, but I kind of fucking hate it at the same time. Besides that, we went to Winterfest in Kings Island, which I think is actually one of the coolest Christmas events. The whole park changes over completely, not just lights, which they do a crazy light show and it goes up the Eiffel Tower and like everything's decked out in lights. But everything is changed to it, like all the restaurants are themed Christmas, and only a few of the rides stay open, sadly. But it's pretty fucking crazy doing some roller coasters in the winter. So I did the ones that are open. And then besides that, we had to do Christmas a week later. So I had some of my family over on actual Christmas Eve just to hang out and play games and stuff. And then we went to Danielle's family for Christmas, like actual Christmas. And then for what we call pretend Christmas Eve, went to my sister's house and we all gathered there, or went to my aunt's house and all gathered there. And then Christmas Day was at my sister's house, but all a good time. Me and my brother, I know you kind of heard about it, did our yearly eggnog competition, third year in a row we've done this. I've lost all three, sadly, and it was my idea to start this, but we both hate eggnog. And this year we changed it a little bit. You had 10 minutes to finish a half gallon, and you weren't allowed to throw up. And we both finished it in under 3 minutes, and I was like probably 10 seconds behind him. I didn't even think I would get nearly that close, and it was fucking disgusting. But then you couldn't throw up in that, 7 minutes that followed, or you got disqualified. And my brother told me he threw up as soon as he left, and he left right after the competition, so he got past the 10-minute mark. But if he would have done it a minute sooner, I would have won this shit, because I ended up not throwing up at all. I went in the bathroom and started dry heaving a bit, but shockingly didn't throw up because I fucking hate it. and a half gallon of it. I showed Cody a video. I got up when we were playing games to readjust myself, and I could hear liquid move in my stomach. So I moved my stomach and you could literally hear it splashing back and forth. And I've never had that happen. As all the unhealthy things I've done and eat and drank, I've never fucking heard liquid just moving back and forth. I mean, I feel like I've thought that, but I haven't been able to move my stomach and hear it. Like you're just splashing water back and forth. It was a little terrifying. But then I figured if all that's stuck in my stomach, I should probably try and coat it. So we did our yearly tradition of going to Waffle House at midnight that night and got some waffles and bacon, and then got to sleep and got started for my next work day, you know?
Hell yeah, dude. You sound like you're pregnant with a Gatorade bottle. You played me that video. I like how this segment turns into the Casey's Diary. I always love hearing about you. On Tuesday, we had waffles, and I quite enjoyed the waffles, but probably used a little too much syrup.
That's fake dialogue. That didn't happen.
Oh, sorry. I just added that in. I pictured that for some reason.
No, it was a good waffle. I finished it. The bacon was very questionable. I only ate one piece because it was it was crispy, but down both the other pieces there's just a strip of red going right down the middle like it wasn't even cooked. I was like, I don't know about this.
You should have went up to the Waffle House workers and told them that exactly like that. They'd have been totally reasonable and completely understanding.
Yeah, that's why I just literally left it on my plate. As much as I wanted more bacon, I was like, just gonna skip over this. Then the only other thing we did this week was you were here for celebrating New Year's and all the normal dumb ways and hang out. But that was it. Do you want to talk about our year in reviews for? I know Xbox and PlayStation and all them started kind of doing what Spotify did.
Yeah, we could do that. Mine's kind of embarrassing because it does not include Xbox 360.
Oh yeah, I didn't think about that.
So my total time on Xbox Series X was 608 hours. I don't know how accurate that is because Spotify is kind of nice because it tells you, it knows exactly how long you're on shit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how accurate that is. So I played 68 games. Total game score 8,610. 454 achievements. My top played game type or genre was action and adventure, and then shooter, then racing and flying, and then role playing, and 5% other. I'm in the top 5% players for game score. Didn't expect that, but it just kind of makes sense. People usually play like a couple games on there.
Yeah.
I'm in the top 10% of players for hours played, and I'm in the top percent players and achievements unlocked, which makes sense because gamer score and achievements would correlate. All right, embarrassing part. Number 1 most played game, Call of Duty, 67 hours. I feel like that had to be a lot of menu sitting because there's no way I played that game this much this year. Fortnite, 44 hours. I'm in the top 25% of Call of Duty and the top 35% of Fortnite. And then this one's kind of sad because I really didn't like this game. Number 3 was Atomic Heart. It was okay. I played, this has to be pretty accurate, 43 hours. This is our achievement race. 555 gamer score, 31 out of the 51 achievements. And the rarest achievement unlocked is Strike. Only 0.52% players unlocked it. I'm in the top 5% of the most active players in this game. And that's showing me 2023. What is this? There's 4.5 billion total achievements unlocked and 91 billion gamer score. That's crazy.
That's fucking crazy.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, I think definitely it does not track accurately as you're sitting in menus or you leave your console. I don't know for sure, but I'm kind of thinking that's the case. So for Xbox 2023, my total time, a lot of this is a lot less than yours, by the way. 410 hours, 47 games played. Here's where I really notice the difference. Total gamer score, 3,500. So not a lot. Need to step it the fuck up. 176 achievements. Do my rewards points were 557 though, so I'm on a roll.
I wonder if it's because it's counting my 360 shit in that one then.
Yeah, actually, I get bet achievements. It would. That'd be weird if it wouldn't. My top gameplay month was for some reason January. I don't know what would have came out in January to spike it. That's kind of weird.
I know.
What was it?
Atomic Heart.
Oh, was it? I was thinking that was February.
Was it February?
No, it could be January. I just thought that because I thought that would be the case too.
Let's see. Oh, it was February.
I'll go back and see what would have been January because I have no clue why January would be a top month. That's really weird.
Yeah, mine was October.
Yeah, see, that makes more sense. A lot of big games around then and getting to exciting holiday times and all that. My top games played genre-wise were shooter is number 1, action adventure is number 2, so we swap on that. Oh, sorry, 52%, 37%. Sports is 5%, 3% role-playing, and 3% other. I'm in the top 5 of gamer score as well. I don't know. I feel like, is it maybe saying your overall? Because it's weird that you'd be in top 5 with more than double me, and I would still be there with you. I don't know how it's tracking that. My top game played, I bet you can't guess it.
Fortnite.
Close. Halo Infinite. I was actually surprised by this, but this is one of the main games I leave on and where I feel like they must track that is 99 hours on Halo Infinite. Top 5%, like you said. My number 2, I felt the same way you did, and it made sense once I thought about it, but Atomic Heart, 47 hours. Very similar to yours, 570 achievement points, 33 of 51. Guess what my rarest achievement is?
Strike.
I couldn't even tell you what that achievement is.
Let me Google it. I'm curious too.
Probably something real dumb. While you're doing that, my number 3 was a game coming up on here quite often, Outriders, with 32 hours played. And I think that's everything for Xbox there.
It was to kill that one boss without making a single shot, destroy all statues.
Yeah, I remember that. That was a pretty annoying achievement, I thought. So that makes sense. So to PlayStation, which, like you said with Xbox, I'm assuming it's probably PS5 only, but I don't know for sure. On PlayStation 2023, I played 21 games. And number 1, and PlayStation I left on way more, and I think this is where you're really seeing it. Horizon Zero Dawn, 86 hours. Ratchet and Clank, A Rift Apart. These are in order, obviously, my top played games. 27 hours, which that probably took me like 13, 14 in all reality. Sackboy, A Big Adventure. Uncharted Lost Legacy of Thieves collection. And Killzone Shadowfall, my top 5 played games. And they do a little differently on here, so I'm trying to look through. My top months are all very similar to those games I just said, so I won't even do those. It's just like a repeat of those. Let's see. Now it made me a playlist of all my games. They're really copying Spotify. My trophies earned 270 and 3 platinums. Got to step it up there too. I'm really lacking this year, huh? Or last year, I should say. And Then PlayStation says, "What a year." Um, the last one I have is Nintendo because, in very PC fashion, I went to check Steam, and it just said Steam could not recognize this right now, so I couldn't check Steam's, but that was probably the lowest of all of them. And my Nintendo one, I looked at it earlier. Definitely, for some reason, only tracked when I got my OLED Switch. It didn't track anything I did on Danielle's system, so it's funny because all my stats are within like the last month and a half. So played 21 total games for a total of 15 hours. My top played game was Mario Kart 8 with 3 hours. And that's not what must they do like Xbox does, where it cuts it off before, like 3 weeks before the year ends or whatever, because I'd have higher than that in other games. This shows how different Nintendo is. My number one genre, 33%, is party, which I don't even think the other systems will recognize that as a genre. Number 2 would be racing. Number 3, shooter. 4, action. 5, classic games. And 6, adventure. And then this is where I noticed that things were all fucked up. My most played month was November, 12 hours. So it's saying I played 3 hours the rest of the year. So in typical Nintendo fashion, they're a little behind on their online things. I know it's shocking. But that was for last year. Do you want to talk about our most anticipated games for this year, 2024?
Yeah. I guess we'll start with my honorable mentions here.
Okay.
So there's really only one honorable mention in here.
Mm-hmm.
The other two I didn't include because of some things I thought should not put them on the list.
Mm-hmm.
This year I played Arcania Gothic 4 and really liked it. Just a very... I don't know why it clicked with me so well, because my friend Andrew bought it, and it definitely got the vibe. He wasn't enjoying as much as I was. I think one point he asked me, he's like, "What the fuck am I playing?" But yeah, the Gothica remake, so it's the first one, which was like I guess these games are a huge success in like Germany and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Very, what do they call it? Euro trash.
Yeah, I remember
I don't
talking
think
about this at Torg.
Yeah, yeah. So they're gonna remake the first one, which is kind of cool. Cool. I want to check that out. Reason I didn't include it is because it's a remake. And then there's a beat 'em up, Toxic Crusaders, coming out. I think I'm not a huge beat 'em up guy, but I just I like Toxic Avenger.
Me and
So I
Dave
wanted to
played
check
that
it out.
at Too Many Games. It was a lot of fun.
Was it? I'm
Yeah.
excited. This one I didn't include because it has an early access, but technically it comes out I think in February. It's a Starship Troopers Extermination,
Yeah, I forgot about that.
which is like 16 players or something like that fighting the bugs, but it's made by the guys that made Squad.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen a lot of mods for Starship Troopers on MilSims, and the game looks awesome. I think it's on sale for the next couple days. I think till the 4th. I might go ahead and pick it up. I want to play it, but I don't know if I'll know anybody that'll play it with me. I want to support it. I want more.
You know my PC situation, but if it could run in it, let's controller, I'd be down. But I don't know if those are realistic things.
Yeah, I don't know, because Squad, if it's anything like Squad, I'm sure there's a lot of moving parts to it.
Yeah.
All right, and then I have the actual top 5
Do you want
games. That was honorable mentions.
I don't care. You want to go back and forth? You want to do your number 5 and then my 5?
Sure.
All right.
My number 5 is Killer Clowns from Outer Space, the game. I think these game styles, the humans versus killer kind of thing, they're okay, but I like this movie a lot. So that's why it's on here. I think it'd be fun to fuck around with. I still haven't played the Texas Chainsaw one, but Killer Clowns from Outer Space, the game, is my number 5.
No, that's a great pick. I knew this would happen because I tried looking at list of most anticipated games and game releases and different things, and there wasn't much that stuck out to me at all, which part of that might just be because it's so early that hopefully a lot of these shows, things are announced that we don't know about yet. But I feel like normally when we do these lists, or even before we did the show, I would look at those kind of lists and be overwhelmed with how many games I was excited for. And this time I felt like I was going through like, man, what would be a top 5? So I feel like that's probably already what happened, because that game could have easily been on there. And I feel like there's, like I said, there's definitely games that we don't know about yet that I'm sure will hopefully be on there, because this be a very weak year, I think, if what is on here might end up being my top 5. But I'm sure there's games I missed as well, because that's already one there. I have a couple honorable mentions. The first one is Avowed, because this isn't really my kind of game, but I do love some of Obsidian's games, and what we've seen looks cool. It just looks very Elder Scrolls, which I know that gets people excited. For me, that's a negative, but still interested in see what they do. Arc 2, I never played the first Arc, but I thought it looked really cool. But you know how I feel about these kind of never-ending games and survival games, and this game is supposed to have a full-on campaign with Vin Diesel for some reason. I'm a little concerned how long ago we saw that and it's disappeared. I feel like it might end up not being a true scripted campaign and kind of just like a short thing, or fed in through the survival part of it. But if they stick to that, I think that could be really cool. Helldivers 2, from what we've seen, I think that could be potentially a lot of fun. And then this one I actually haven't even seen anything of. I just have always loved the world of Alone in the Dark, so I'm curious to see what that is. I want to look more into it. I know it's just kind of a remake of the old ones. But those would be my honorable mentions. And then for my actual top 5, and I should have said at the beginning, we agreed that anything that is projected to come out in 2024, whether it has a release date or they just said generically they'll come out this year, is what the list is, because I'm sure some of these will get delayed like everything does, and I'm sure it'll be, like I said, plenty of things that we don't know about that are coming out this year. But my number 5, with just a generic 2024 release date right now, is Foam Stars, the PlayStation exclusive. Definitely ripped off of Splatoon, but I think Splatoon is a really cool, unique idea, which this is not unique now because they're ripping it off. But I think why I instantly liked Splatoon was I always kind of liked that idea. I loved graffiti and Tony Hawk. A lot of people hated that mode. That was one of my favorite things. I love like the territory control and being able to take that over. And I think putting a shooter over that is fucking awesome. It is third person, which I usually prefer first person, but I think it makes sense in this kind of game. It definitely is, if you watch the trailers, I don't know if you remember this, entirely too Japanese for me, but I'm hoping just as far as gameplay that that'll be enough to hold it.
Yeah, man. I think Helldivers, and I haven't played the first one. I want to, but that game as well. If I had a PS5, that probably would have ended up on my list, or at
Yeah.
least honorable mentions as well. Uh, yeah. Let's see. Killer Clowns also did not have a date. But I think the murder games that I've played are these killer games. I think Ilphonic has done the best.
I agree.
So
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. That's another reason why I'm excited for Killer Clowns. I know you said that you're not too high on those kind of games. I love those kind of games, and I think they don't always execute on it completely. And it being them, I hope that they just keep learning from the things that don't work, because yeah, I think it's definitely better, it seems, in theory than execution. But I hope that the more they do that, the better it'll get. And like you, I love the world of Killer Clowns, so if they do that right, I think it'd be fucking awesome and hilarious.
sure. All right. The next one I'm choosing because when I was a kid, I played this game called Slave Zero. Have you ever heard of that?
No, name sounds familiar.
Um, it came out on the Dreamcast and PC. I played it on the PC, which is probably why I liked it. I hear the Dreamcast port is awful, and it's one of the cheaper Dreamcast games you could buy.
I've seen this
Essentially,
case. That's why I knew the name.
oh yeah, dude. I think that's why we ended up buying it. Me and my dad back in '99 or whenever this came out.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think it was '99. But I was obsessed, especially with the first mission, where essentially it's in the future and you kill yourself to take control of this massive Godzilla-sized robot, and you like put your soul in it or some shit. But then you essentially run around the like. Did you ever play War of the Monsters on the PS2? I think
Is
it was
that
War of the Monsters.
is that like the Godzilla type game where you can pick
Hmm.
different? Yeah. Hmm.
So essentially, that's what it was like. At least that first mission was you're running around a city and you could stomp on the people and the traffic reacted to you. It was just absolutely mind blowing. So I remember just playing that first mission over and over again and loving it. Um, but I think a few years ago, I think LJR or LGR, lazy not get lazy game reviews, but I think it was LJR. LJR, LJR. I forget who. Someone did a review of it like 10 years ago and uh, reminded me all about it. But somebody had purchased the rights to Slave Zero,
Hmm.
and now they're getting ready to release a prequel to it. But now it's like a beat 'em up mixed with Devil May Cry is the only way I can describe it.
Huh.
It looks like it's straight from the Sega Saturn. Like I honestly thought it was like, oh, maybe there's a prequel on the Sega Saturn that I didn't know about. Is how much this game looks. I hate to say vintage, but old. I don't know how to describe it, but the genre is run and slash. A stylish. Well, it's not the. It's just what they said, not genre. A stylish 2.5D character action game set in the biopunk world of Slave Zero. So, yep, Slave Zero X is the one that is my number 4. It comes out July 11th, 2023. And once again, PS5 and Switch get a physical release, and Xbox does not.
Now it's 2024, right? You said 2023, but I'm
Oh
assuming.
yeah, sorry.
No,
I
you're
think it
good.
actually got delayed.
Okay.
So July 11th, 2023, I think was the first one,
Initial.
the initial, and then I think it comes out. Hold on, I have the date of it somewhere on here. Yeah, I believe it's February. I'm gonna check my docs real quick.
Sounds interesting. I'll have to look it up. So I'm assuming this might not be out yet, but is this like a $15, $20 game or is this a full on thing?
I think it's actually a little more than that, probably like 40.
Okay.
Yeah, it's 40. The physical
Gotcha.
edition's $40. I do not like the Devil May Cry style combat.
Hmm.
I'm not a big beat 'em up guy, but the fact that I want to support it because I loved the original,
No,
which
I
was a
hear you.
third person action game, which is kind of
Yeah.
odd they went this route with it, but I think people enjoy the world a lot. And hopefully, if this sells enough copies, we could get it. I would love a remake because there's definitely some, especially what I've seen from about the Dreamcast version port of the game, that it needs an overhaul really bad. But the story, there's not much of a story. It's more just the gameplay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, February 21st,
Okay.
Slave Zero X.
Yeah, no, that's why I was laughing when you said what they're describing it as, because that just sounds almost polar opposite of what the game was originally as it sounded. But
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like it might be a lot cheaper to do it that way and ease into it and then see if you can get back to that. I feel like making that style of game is probably a lot more expensive, or you're going to make just shit something out that feels like it's from that era and it's probably not a good thing at this time. But that was your number 4.
Yep.
All right. My number 4 would be Star Wars Outlaws, just again another generic 2024. I know a lot of people are down Star Wars. I'm not crazy about everything they're doing. And this is done by Massive, the same people that made The Division and Avatar, which, like I said, I'm not usually the biggest Ubisoft fan. And they seem to all have a, not that every game's the same, but similar formula that they do. But at the same time, I bought Avatar because I love the world so much. So as long as it's a quality game, that might be enough to pull me in. I think Star Wars, not as much, just because there's so much fucking Star Wars out there. That's what made Avatar so exciting, that there's the 2 movies, and then that's kind of it. And then that one game that came out, but that was quite a while ago now. So I think that could pull me in a lot more, just because Avatar's not all around like Star Wars is. But they can really pull off an actual open world Star Wars game. I think that sounds really cool, but we'll see what that is in execution.
Yeah, that was one that was kind of arguing about putting on my honorable mentions.
Oh, really?
Just haven't seen enough to
Yeah.
care. This next one, which would be number 3 for me, is one actually kind of scares me because Ubisoft is not involved. That is I almost said Star Wars. South Park Snow Day, March 26, 2025. I have a feeling this is on your list somewhere. But yeah, I'm kind of nervous because the company that's working on it, which is the company's called Question, and it's being published by THQ Nordic.
Mm-hmm.
Question, from what I can tell online, really haven't done much, but I know Trey Parker and Matt Stone are way more involved with the 2 more recent games than they were with their previous ones, so I'm sure it's hopefully in safe hands.
Yeah, I should have at least put on my honorable mentions. It's not on my list, actually, and it's funny. That's why I should have at least put it on there, because I definitely am very curious about it and hope it's good. I don't know if we were doing a podcast or if we just talked off podcast about it, but when this was announced, I was really excited, and you're more down on it for those reasons, because you're like, do you see who's developing this and what's going on here and what happened to Ubisoft? And
Yep.
I kind of thought what you said there, I was like, I think I would be worried about that, but the fact that Matt and Trey were so definitive about those last 2 games and how they can't have what happened in the old 64 days happen again, I was like, I kind of just put trust into it. But the more that this time goes on, the more I'm worried that that's not what happened. Especially, I don't know if you saw, this game is $30, which obviously if it's fun, that's a bonus. But that makes me worried that there's a reason it's probably $30. And I hope that's not the case, and that's why I said I should have at least put on honorable mentions, because I want it to be good so bad, and I am excited for it. I got a bad feeling now.
Yeah, it could be too, because it kind of looks like a parody of Diablo.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe they're seeing a lot of microtransactions in it.
Yeah, that could be, which would be another negative for me, but the base game is fun. That'd be enough. But yeah, I'd be curious to see what happens with that game. When did that come out? Or when does it come out? Because that's relatively soon, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's February.
February, even sooner.
I think it's late February. I just closed this Google. I have a Google Doc running of like games this year.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. It comes out. Oh, March 26th, actually.
March 26th. Okay, I thought it was March, but didn't know the date. Still relatively soon, though. Are you gonna get it? Or are you gonna wait and see, or what's your plan?
If I do wait, it'll be like just a couple weeks till that reviews come in.
Okay. Yeah.
Go from there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really base stuff off of reviews, but if it's like a straight up broken game, I think that's usually what reviews are good for, and something that I'm kind of questioning like that. I feel like I want to see if they don't give it a great score and they just don't seem to like it, I definitely would want to try it. But if it's like a straight up, there's issues with this game, that might be what holds me up.
Yeah, I think the low price point and being South Park and really curious about it is what put it so high on my list.
No,
and
that's
it's
fair.
Just being they have not announced shit for this year.
Yeah, you can tell by my list here. Not even a knock against any of these games. I'm interested in all these games, But like I said, for our top fives, usually I'm like knocking games out that are like must plays for me. My number three is probably your number one. Princess Peach Showtime, releasing March 20th.
I thought you were actually about to say my number one, which is the completely opposite game.
No, looking ahead, I knew this wouldn't be on there, and I'm looking ahead my next two. I don't think we'll line up with either of them. I think this game looks very Nintendo-y, but looks fun to me. It's also the only game on my list that actually has a release date, and especially being Nintendo, I'm sure it's going to come out. Well, it's so soon, I'm sure it's going to, but Nintendo usually sticks to their dates, and just looks, I don't think it's going to be deep or even the best Nintendo game, but looks like fun.
Ooh. All right, so this will be my number two, right?
Yep.
Yeah, number two. This one, this could get some this could be Redfall level bad, or what was the Back for Blood level bad? But John Carpenter's Toxic Commando. I love John Carpenter a lot. I don't know how involved he is in this game, but it kind of gives me those Left 4 Dead vibes with John Carpenter, which would be awesome. They're supposed to drop a comic book for this in March as well, so I might pick those up it's like kind of a prequel story setup for the world.
Yeah, I forgot about that game. That looks really cool.
Yeah, I'm excited. This looks like something I could see being on Game Pass. These last two games, I could be only seeing like the full price games that I would. The other three have been pretty cheap, but if John Carpenter's Toxic Commando is around $30-$40, I feel like that's the perfect price for it.
He's another person that seems like he actually cares about games too, so he might be involved in it. Like you hear him in interviews talk regularly about playing games.
Yeah, I will say though, like recently he's been more like not checked out, just old man fuck it behavior.
Yeah.
Like, he just does a lot of live music, and even like Halloween and stuff. I think he only did the music on the new ones. Kind of let his. I think he even did that partly with his son too, right?
I think so. Yeah, I feel like their names come up on the credits.
So I feel he's just maybe just hopefully not cashing in. He's more involved than I'd expect, but this be a good outlet for him too, because he doesn't make movies anymore. I love even his people call his bad movies. I loved even before I knew they were his, like Ghosts of Mars. I was obsessed with that movie as a kid. I didn't even know of him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, until I was They Live. It's one of my all-time favorite movies. I had no idea that was him. Yeah, the dude's a legend for sure. So I'm hoping with the fucking game, literally his name.
Yeah.
I hope that he's way more involved in this than his more recent lifestyle, I guess you would say.
Yeah, I could see it going either way. I could see what you're saying, that kind of a cash in or just, hey, can we use your name? But I could also see that maybe he's checked out of movies and music because he's succeeded so much and he wants something different. Games are so different, and since he cares about games, maybe it means something different, not more to him, because obviously movies are made his fucking life. But
yeah, okay, oh, sorry. Go ahead.
You're good. I was gonna say it might be something where he actually cares about it and not really done with it.
Here's an article from The Verge. Horror legend nerd John Carpenter is helping make a new game called John Carpenter's Toxic Commando. You'll be taking on hordes of zombies, a first-person shooter. Fortunately, there were lots of cars featured in the trailer, so I'm hoping that that's a big premise. Like you can level up your car and do shit with that. But so this is helpful here. Carpenter is known for his work, blah blah blah. We all know everything he made. But in a recent interview with AV Club, he said that he's addicted to Fallout 76, loved Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. Both these games are not mainstream games, so. And he thought that Assassin's Creed Valhalla was pretty damn good. So he sounds like a huge gamer,
Yeah.
which is so maybe he's way more involved in this than I was. I think my expectations were low. I hope he's in there like every day helping make this shit. Um, but my expectations are low that that's what's happening.
Yeah.
But
No, I hear
that
that's
just
fair.
reading that, I just found that as we're talking, trying to figure out how involved he is in this. Um, so hopefully that's a good sign.
What's your favorite John Carpenter movie?
Um, Man, that's a hard one. It's definitely not Halloween.
So he has a lot of good
Uh,
ones, but for me, it's easy.
I gotta say Ghost. Oh, damn. Probably They Live.
They live.
Let me look at his list of movies real quick before I give you a definite.
I say mine
Just
for
to,
sure is The Thing. That's still.
s- damn, yeah, that's a good one. I don't know. Uh, Escape from New York's really good too.
Hmm.
I liked Vampires a lot. That's another one that I liked and had no idea was his. Um, and his movies are like very nostalgic for me too, because my dad loves them.
Hmm.
I remember my dad showing me Escape from New York and They Live. Uh, Damn, Ghost of Mars, Escape from LA. Yeah, I am looking at his list here. I'd probably stick with They Live, yeah.
Yeah. I know I've heard of some of the ones you're talking about. Well, I've heard of all the ones you're talking about and seen some of them. But man, I need to watch some of these again and or watch them for the first time. See if that changes. But the thing is just the perfect mix of sci-fi and horror. And I don't not particular about practical effects like you are, but that movie is so damn impressive with that, and I feel like that's why it holds up so amazingly now, amongst other things. But I
100%.
think that helps a lot.
100%, man. He's just all the elements of his movies are just good shit.
Yeah.
Good shit.
All right, that was your number two, right? I got us off on a tangent there.
Yes, that's my number 2.
All right, my number two. Again, like I said, everything besides Peach has just generic 2020 or generic 2024. My number two is The Plucky Squire, which is a Devolver game, well, published by Devolver. I don't think they developed it. Let me look.
I think I know which
Yeah.
one you're talking about, and I definitely was like, if Casey hasn't seen this, yeah, yep. Yeah, this game looked right up your alley.
Yeah, I
It looks
remember.
really good.
Oh, you think it looks really good?
Uh, well, it looks really well made. I don't
Yeah,
think I
not
would
for
like
you.
this.
No, I hear you.
It's very original.
Yeah, I looked it up. I feel like I know as soon as I saw it at E3 or Summer Games Fest or wherever I saw it, which I think was a couple of years ago now. I was like, this game looks fucking amazing. It's a action or adventure platformer that's um like a kid's book, but then the characters pop out of it and it becomes a 3D platformer, which couldn't be any more up my alley. So I'm super
In
excited
the
for it.
When I was looking up researching games coming out next year,
Hmm.
I saw that this guy was super involved in Mario games.
Oh, was he?
I don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure he had a big part of a lot of the Mario shit.
No, that'd be cool and would make sense, and obviously give this a much better chance of the platforming and adventuring part being solid.
This is
So
a Switch exclusive too, right?
no, that comes out on everything.
Oh, does it? Okay.
Yep. So, well, surprisingly, this is a current gen game, so not the old systems, which is fucking weird. But it's about time that happens. But it's funny that like the only games doing that are the games that don't seem to need to do that.
Well, it's funny too because it kind of reminds me of those. What is um, goddamn, what is that Vita game? And then the PS3
um,
games.
Art wise, it reminds me of Fat Princess, but I don't think that's what you're talking about.
No.
No.
Let me see. Developer All Possible Futures.
Yeah, it's a pretty bad name.
I'm trying to make sure this is what I was thinking of. That this James Turner. Let me look this guy up. The games where they had just made that one. God damn it! I don't remember any of the game titles. This is the worst. They were Sony exclusives. They're really big on the PS. Sackboy,
Oh, Little Big Planet.
Little Big Planet, and what
Yeah.
was their Tearaway?
Yeah, Tearaway. Yeah, no, I can see that.
And I know you love those games,
Oh
if I'm
yeah.
remembering correctly.
No, yeah, definitely. Little
Um,
Big Planet more so, but yeah, Tearaway is fucking great too.
I'm trying to find this guy's history. I swear this guy had something to do. Maybe it's Pokemon. Does that sound
Hmm.
familiar at all?
No, but I didn't know the Mario thing either, so it's possible it could be either of those. Mario would make more sense, you think, but doesn't mean he couldn't do something different.
Oh yeah, this is him. I just found him on the Pokemon Wikipedia. James
Hmm.
Turner is a British graphic designer who worked at Game Freak. Um, he became the first Westerner to officially design Pokemon. He started in 2010, so maybe it's a bad sign for you. Looks like he's involved with a lot of the stuff you didn't like.
Maybe that's why he
Uh,
left, though. He's like, wait, I had to make the same game for 100 years. I'm out.
oh wait, okay, so he wasn't actually designing the Pokemon. He's responsible for the game's battle effects, battle camera, and cutscenes.
Feel like those probably all, even though I'm not a fan of the game, probably only gotten better.
So that makes sense. Yeah, the artwork on that game looks awesome, dude. I
Yeah.
was like, oh, another generic indie game. I saw
That's what I thought
Devolver,
when
which
we were
was
watching
cool,
it. Yeah.
and then it pops out in the real world, and I was like,
Hmm.
okay. It gives me. I think where I got confused with the Mario thing, it reminds me a lot of Paper Mario.
Yeah. No, for sure. That's what I thought. And I'm actually not a Paper Mario fan as much as I love Mario and think the idea is cool. Something about it, the games don't work for me and not a fan, but this looks a lot more up my alley.
All right, so should do my number one.
Yep, Princess Peach, showtime.
Princess Peach Showtime. uh, no, I'm sure you could probably guess this, Casey, and maybe some of the people listening, but Warhammer 40K Space Marine 2.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of my favorite 360 hidden gems, I guess I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Probably my favorite hidden gem. Anybody I know that plays 360 or likes third person action, I usually try to tell them to go play that one. But yeah, I'm excited. Hopefully this goes well. Just seeing all the Tyranids on screen, how beautiful the game looks,
Mm-hmm.
the sound design in the trailer, the world it's in.
No,
I'm
I'm with you.
excited.
I didn't guess that, but that's because that's another one that, even though we talked about last episode, totally went out of my mind. So I would have at least had in honorable mentions, if not on the list. So yeah, definitely. If I would have thought of that, I would have for sure guessed it as yours and probably had it on mine.
It also
Um,
comes out the day before my 31st birthday.
yeah, see, that's what I'm saying.
I
We
think
talked about all
that's
that last episode and then just right out of my mind.
and it's gonna be well, what is next year? 2012. Well, it's this year, so 2024. What is that? 13 years after the first one,
Which,
almost to the date.
and it's Taylor Swift's lucky number, so that's a good sign.
That's awful. And I was 18.
That's awful.
I was 18, and right 7. Yeah, I was 18 when I played the first one, or no, 18 when the first one came out,
Yeah.
and I'll be 31 when the second one comes out.
Yeah, see, that's awful.
So I'm excited.
Yeah.
Great
No, I'm with you.
game. Buy it now. It's only getting more and more expensive on the 360.
I'll just borrow
Um,
yours again and keep it
there you go.
cheaper that way. All right, my number one. It is slated to come out this year. Sadly, I don't believe it's coming out this year, and I think there's a chance it might never come out. But it'll be The Wolf Among Us 2. The Wolf Among Us is my favorite Telltale game. I know I talked about it on here before, but that's really saying something with everything that Telltale has done, the properties they've done. Batman, I fucking love Batman. They did The Walking Dead, especially in its prime. I loved The Walking Dead, Guardians of the Galaxy, all these properties I love. And then this IP that I've never heard of became my favorite over all those. And then they just took it all away and left us hanging. This game's gotten delayed countless times. And I feel like this game could only take so long to make. That's why I'm worried it might never come out. But they said our stipulations were games are announced for this year, and it is. But I got my doubts that not only this year, but ever, unfortunately. But fingers crossed.
Yeah, I hope so, buddy.
Thank you. Anything else you want to talk about before we get into the regular show here?
No.
All right. Any corrections, questions, or feedback?
Yeah, I think originally I had said I got a little Captain Conservative on the 4K, 40K movies,
Mm-hmm.
and they said there's not a lot of female characters, so there shouldn't be in the show. There's the Battle Sisters. I know they exist, but I'm saying if there's 37 and 3 males, and for some reason an ungodly amount of the Battle Sisters or whatever they call them, which I don't think they're as common as they're going to be in the show.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying here.
Yeah.
I know there's females in the show or in the universe, and there's Marines, Space Marines. So I'm just saying, I don't need 37 of the fucking Battle Sisters. I know they'll be there. They're going to be part of the game or part of the universe,
Mm-hmm.
and I want them to be. But this does not have to look like the cover of a community college brochure. I like how that was the joke. Like, oh yeah, colleges do that, and then now everybody does that. I don't want this to be a checkbox. I just want lore accurate 40K. Just want this to go well. Yeah, that's the only correction I have.
No, I got you. Are they actually called the Battle Sisters? Because that's a fucking awful name.
Let me make sure. I'm more than certain. Like I said, I don't know much about 40K, but what
Yeah.
I've seen, I love, and yeah, Sisters of Battle,
That might be worse.
Adepta Sororitas, also known as Sisters of Battle, are an elite sisterhood of warriors raised from infancy to adore and worship the Emperor of Mankind.
See, they ever got it up, Sisterhood?
Because there is females. Like there's what is the fucking name of the ones that go around and they're kind of like the CIA or the spy of 40K? Inquisitors.
Oh, yeah. Maybe talk about that.
So I know they'll be there. That's okay. And I know there's females in the world, and there should definitely be in the movies and shows. But I'm saying we don't need. It's not a checkbox. Essentially, what I'm saying. Just stick to the lore. Fuck the PC shit. Yeah.
But
so I just want to correct myself that I know there is.
They could stick to the lore and also do that because that's Sisterhood. They could have all black Sisterhood and talk about
They could
being in the Sisterhood.
Yeah, dude. They could essentially just recreate the Marvels. Captain Marvel, she could lead one. And I don't need what is that, Brie Larson?
Mm-hmm.
I don't need those type of people in the show. Like I'm thinking of the girl from Game of Thrones. God damn it, the female knight and sister. She just played Captain Phasma or whatever in Star Wars.
I don't know the actress's name. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, that's the kind of shit that I want to see.
So no hot girls are allowed.
Yeah, they're called the Sisters of Battle. They're not the Sisters of the Minority Hot Women. They're called that. Okay, that makes sense. But I want some bull dykes with armor. is what I'm asking for. All right. I want the women that if we put them in prison, they're going to be running shit within a few minutes. The alphas. So, also here's something. However, the Adeptus, let me see, has been able to circumvent this decree. The command was supposed the limit of power. Master armies. Let me see. However, deploying the all-female military force sisterhood, ordnance militant. Okay, the Inquisition. So that's all I'm saying. As I know, there's females in the world. I don't want to get construed here, but I'm just saying I want some burly bitches. Burly bitches, okay?
Like, so could Taylor Swift be in this? She's pretty
No,
burly.
I want Taylor Swift to show up. Those type of women to show up and just get ripped in half.
Hey, if they hire me, I can do that for you.
There you go. There you go.
Okay. Other question or feedback?
No.
Okay.
Just needed to.
You can send those to currentbackloggers@gmail.com. And then anything from the weeks before that you want to talk about that we forgot?
No.
Okay. The only thing I had, we talked a little bit in person, but I told you I want to talk to you on here. This new movie coming out called If. I wanted to talk to you on here and hear your impressions and what you thought of it. I know you said you thought it looked really good. Yeah, tell me a bit about what you think.
Looks like a live action Monsters Inc. or something.
Yeah, I could see that. I'll go ahead.
If it just wasn't John Krasinski or was it Ryan Reynolds,
Mm-hmm.
I probably would have no interest in this, but I'll give I think John Krasinski is really good.
Yeah.
So I'll give him a shot.
Yeah, I mean, this is totally different than anything he's done, but so far he's only done very high quality to me. I've always liked Ryan Reynolds. Even back to, what was that? The early cheesy comedy he did, Just Friends? Is that it? I remember I was obsessed with it for some reason, and ever since then, there's something about him.
The Ryan Reynolds?
Yeah.
That guy, yeah.
Yeah, there's something about him. He's just so damn charming and likable. So that's definitely what pulled me into this as well. I'm not going to act like the movie on its own pulled me in. It was them to begin with. I do think also kid actors are very questionable, and I don't know her name, but the kid actress in this is the girl from The Walking Dead, and I thought she was always really good on The Walking Dead, which should help in a kiddish movie like this. But why I wanted to ask you on here, I told you in person too, was I was really curious which way it would go. I could see you thinking this looked like an abomination because of the CG mixed in the real world. Or I could see the opposite end. I could definitely see the monsters in comparison, like you said. But I think something that jumped out to me and what made me extra excited was, even though it's crazy CG and looks very modern, it reminds me of older movies like the Pink Panther or what's the rabbit movie I'm blanking on here? Totally lost it. Yeah, they mix in cartoon with live action.
Roger Rabbit?
Yeah, Roger Rabbit.
Is it Roger Rabbit? Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. It reminds me of
like actual cartoons, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it just reminds me of that in spirit of mixing together animation with live action, and there's definitely movies that have done that. It's not like there's just been a dry period, but I feel like the style in which they're doing it seems a lot more like those to me for some reason. It made me extra excited. And
yeah,
I really fucking want to see it. And I was shocked how much I wanted to see it when I saw the trailer, because I saw Danielle sent me a tease, and I was like, I mean, there's some good names, but I have no fucking clue what this is. There's just a poster of like one of the characters' arms coming out. So I was shocked when I saw the trailer and how excited I got.
Yes, this movie seems right up your alley.
Yeah. I can't wait. We'll see how it turns out, though. You want to get to news? I know there wasn't a lot this past couple weeks.
Yep. All right. So there's just got one article here from, what is this? What Deadline.com. Jack Black levels up for a mine. This fucking title.
I knew you love
Jack
that.
Black levels up for Minecraft at Warner Bros. Oh, does he? Anthony D. Salandro. Did he level up? Did he get his power up? Did he? There's this article. I feel like that the title's written by someone that does not play games. Jack Black puts his memory card into this movie, and he levels up. Production is about to get underway on the Warner Bros. Vertigo Legendary feature on Take on Mojang / Microsoft's Minecraft, and sources are telling us that Jack Black is joining the cast of the Jason Momoa-led movie. There is nothing about this that sounds good. I'll definitely watch it. I hope it does go well, but the Pic's plot is under wraps, with writing credits still being determined. We hear Black is playing the role of Steve, which is the main character. Black is also starring in the Lion Gates feature take on the video game Borderlands, hitting cinema on August 9th. So it was kind of weird. You sent me this article, and then I had a Facebook notification of a memory from like, I don't know how long ago this was. 6 years ago or something. 2018. What is that? 6 years?
2018. Yeah.
So 6 years ago, I had something. I had a status that popped up, and it was Rob McElhaney.
Mm-hmm.
That's when they announced he was doing the Minecraft movie. And I was like, "What the fuck happened with that?"
I didn't remember that.
So initially they ended up giving McElhaney. He loved Minecraft, and so he decided he was going to write the movie. And they ended up giving him $150 million to make the Minecraft movie.
Mm-hmm.
After he said the theme of his movie pitch was, quote, people taking agency over their own experience in this digital landscape. Unfortunately, let's see. Silverman left Warner Bros. In 2016 and was replaced by, which I think is who originally greenlit it or was helping with it or something.
Mm-hmm.
Just 1 month before production was due to begin. McElhaney said that's when his Minecraft movie fell apart. Toby, which is the guy that replaced Silverman, Toby Emmerich, and Silverman, who runs the studio there. I don't know if he still runs the studio there, if he actually was really gracious. He never actually said, I don't believe in you, or said, you can't do this. It just slowly died on the vine. So, yeah, a month before they're supposed to start production, they pulled the plug on McElhaney's version of this movie.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
Which I would have liked to see.
Yeah, for sure, because he's I didn't know you liked Minecraft, but I believe you, because I know he really likes games as well. Also, star of One Lost episode. I think that's why everybody most knows him for. But that's why he has that show on Apple TV, Mythic Quest. It's a pretty funny comedy show, but they run a game studio. So yeah, it's been cool to see somebody like that again actually cares about it. I think Jack Black seems to care about it, but I don't think he has much control over. Even if he does a good part of it or whatever, I don't think that really changes the movie. I'm curious when people are going to start the hate against him, because he seems to be a video game guy now, for video game movies, I should say. But yeah, that's I put this in here because it's obviously big video game news. I know you love Minecraft, but I really put it in here because of the headline. And when it got to Jason Momoa, and that's why I started losing it, because you're just reading it and you said that. And I said the same. I thought the same thing as I was reading it. I actually did a double take. I was reading it and I kept reading. I went back and wait, was that Jason Momoa? Is that what I just read? And I reread it and what the fuck? What does he have to do with this?
Yeah, I just worry this is going to be I feel like The Rock's going to be thrown in here somehow, and Kevin Hart's going to appear. Just to add to how much better McElhaney's version sounds, I guess in this article too, they talk about him. He went over and had meetings with Pixar to figure out how to make good animated films.
Mm-hmm.
Which was he had a meeting with Andrew Stanton. I guess he was a big part of Bug's Life and
Yeah.
Wall-E and Finding Nemo.
Mm-hmm.
I like this quote from him. I'm comfortable talking about this about it because fuck them at this point. But he also doesn't harbor any resentment. I get it. I get that this is the way this works. But yeah, I think this is gonna be really good. He said also down here, it's very close to happening. McAney shared McElhaney. Jesus, what a fucking ridiculous last name. Go look at the spelling of this last name. Shared that the script was in good places and they hired an art and visual effects company, and Steve Carell had signed a contract to appear in the movie. Yeah, said he worked for 2.5 years on this movie as well. And then them just to take over something you worked for 2.5 years.
Yeah, that fucking suck. I mean,
Was
it
your
sucked.
brainchild.
I say that suck no matter what, but if you're not in it just for the paycheck, which obviously I'm sure he wants to make money, but something you actually are passionate about too, that must extra suck. And it seems like everything he does, he puts a lot of passion into and seems to usually succeed. So that's a bummer.
This article is from 2020, so clearly things have changed even since this article. Warner Bros. Replaced McElhaney with Peter Sollett, who previously directed Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist. The story seems to have changed as well, as developer Mo Yang says the story will follow a teenage girl and her pals as they fight the evil Ender Dragon. So something happened there. Now it's Jack Black, the teenage girl, and her pals as they fight the evil Ender Dragon Nazi to save the overworld.
Oh shit. Anything else you want to talk about with this?
Oh yeah, here's something else too. Night at the Museum. Sean Levy was originally attached to write and direct, but Mo Yang vetoed his Goonie adventure style idea, and he quit the project. Probably wanted to put a guy in there, not his girl and her girl pals. When you say teenage girl and her pals, my mind immediately goes to fucking Chris Chan. My girl pals.
That's something I might still start after everything you've said in Last Stand Media talking about it. I've still never started that documentary. The only other news, we don't have to talk about the whole article, but Insomniac had a big leak, which all kinds of shit came out. But I think the thing that would matter most to us is, did you see the timeline of games that
Passports. Their home addresses.
the timeline of games that were announced? Well, not announced, but leaked.
I heard it happen, but then like YouTube videos were the ones I watched about it were refusing to mention it because they're like, we don't want to give power. That poor soul though that had his passport leak was also laid off. So not only did you get fired from probably your dream job, but then you're doxxed and your passport's out on the internet.
Yeah, no, all that shit seemed. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, hopefully, he just gets a big paycheck, a huge lawsuit from Sony. Hopefully,
yeah.
he cashes in, doesn't have to worry about money for the rest of his life, because that's bullshit.
No, that'd
Sony
be
should have
nice.
just paid the. I get you don't negotiate with terrorists, but I think you kind of hold a responsibility for. I'm sure there's some sort of fuck up on their end to let that shit leak, and then now all these poor souls' passports and addresses and shit are out there.
Yeah, for sure. That's obviously the more serious part than games getting leaked. I just know that. Didn't know if you want to talk about all that stuff. I don't mind that you do. I just didn't know if you want to. And even with the game stuff, the people are still at the studio. I'm sure it's a huge bummer. It's not just like your next game leak. It's a timeline up into 2036. So you have Wolverine coming out in 2025, which we knew about, but I don't think it said a year yet, which sucks because that means not this year now for Wolverine. Spider-Man 3 in 2027. X-Men in 2029. New IP in 2031, which these years sound fucking crazy. X-Men 3, so one's missing here because it only has 1 and 3. Unless there's not going to do a 2 Goat Simulator this shit. 2033, new IP2, 2035. So that's fucking crazy that they already know that far ahead. That doesn't just seem like a generic timeline of things they hope they do. Besides made new IPs, but they already know that X-Men 3 fucking 10 years ahead. I'm sure they have ideas for the IPs already. And yeah, I heard Wolverine, I don't know if I want to look at it, not even just like out of respect, but because I would like to see it when it's like a finished product. And I don't know, maybe it is. People say it looked good. But I guess there's a Wolverine video out there, and people say it looks very God of War like and very impressive. But that's not what I would have imagined for Wolverine. But I don't know, it's necessarily a bad thing. But yeah, just crazy to see that many fucking games and think of those years. Anything you want to say, or should we move on to pickups?
No.
All right, you want to do your pickups first?
Sure. I will start with toys. The GameStop shit finally started arriving, but they're still missing one thing from Black Friday, so that sucks. I think we already talked about these two, didn't we? The Republic Commando.
We either talked about it. I don't remember seeing them, but I feel like we talked about it. So maybe you ordered them.
Oh, okay, yeah. So this is the Blade Marvel Knights. This is my first Marvel Legend. I do not want to go down this rabbit hole that is Marvel Legends, but I fucking love Blade. This figure looks awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is only the second or third Marvel Legend of Blade. They're all pretty cool, but I love me some Blade. I was excited about the game, and then this was during Black Friday. Amazon and GameStop had this one really cheap.
So now you are down that rabbit hole.
So, in the crazy part about Marvel Legends, it will give you some serious FOMO. I'm sure most people know they have this thing called Build-A-Figure.
Mm-hmm.
So each one from the line. So you had to buy 7 figures, which is what, 20,
Jesus.
40, 60, 80, 800. Probably one. You're probably looking like $170, $180. You find these at retail to build the figure. So they will suck your ass in if you let them. And then yeah, just I fucking love Republic Commandos. I would like to get this whole. I'm not a big Black Series guy.
Ooh.
But this game is amazing, and I want to buy the whole line. Buy at least all the clone troopers. I think there's only one droid. I have 2 so far, and then I love Darby Allin a lot. Wiccaface Springs Eternal. GBC for life. Did his music. I think Darby Allin is my favorite modern wrestler. He wrestles for AEW.
That makes sense. I don't know his name at all.
Yeah, I think he's. I don't know. His whole gimmick's pretty sick, but there's just look how fucking edgy that man is. He seems like a really cool guy. He's a big skater, and I don't know. Just go watch some interviews with him. He's a really cool guy. But this is like the LGN style wrestlers, but they're doing them for modern guys now. You can kind of have similar retro packaging.
Are you actually watching wrestling again? I know you said you tried to and you couldn't do it.
No, but
okay.
I'll watch here and there for like highlights and shit. AEW is a little harder to watch too if you don't have cable. Yeah, I like Darby Allin a lot.
I gotcha.
But yeah, mainly found out about him because of that Wiccaface Springs Eternal. Very cool guy. And he kind of, I don't know if you watch interviews with him, he doesn't do the kayfabe thing that all the older wrestlers did where he stayed in character, but I don't know if that's just his personality or what, but he's a cool guy.
I gotcha.
I got a couple of his figures. But yeah. And then we'll just move on to the games. Got some more VR games here.
Okay.
Resident Evil 7.
Nice. Which
I think is going to be wild on the VR.
It is.
I'm actually like really scared to put the shit in, dude. I think I'm going to lose my mind in this.
I don't. You know how easily I jumped. Surprisingly, I haven't jumped at all yet, and I try and put myself in that situation, but I don't know if maybe it's because I'm having fun as well. Because yeah, I should be jumping like crazy.
Accounting Plus
Nice.
and Trover Saves the Universe.
I still haven't played that one. I bought it and I haven't played that one yet.
And so I think I now have all the Squanch games for the VR.
Very nice.
Excited about that. And then Best Buy had a little sale. I picked up is it Raiden 3? I like these games a lot. I still need to pick up I think Raiden 4 for the Series X. Great shmups. And then Puya Puya Tetris 2. I think this was like $5 on there.
Not bad.
No, yeah, it looks pretty good. I like I think they call them puzzle match or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
The versus mode. So, and then probably the most exciting pickup because I've been wanting this for a long time and I've been holding off on it because I never seen it go on sale. And it's just Evil West.
Hell yeah.
I saw it for 50% off, which I've never seen for this game. I feel like this had a low production run or something. Because even on eBay, this still goes for $50, $60.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But yeah, isn't Focus Entertainment's making some cool shit, or they publish some cool shit? I think
Yes.
aren't they making they're making something on my list of.
So I know they're making something that was announced because I called it when we were watching, or called out when I was watching it, but I'm totally blanking.
Oh,
Blade, right?
Space Marine 2. I'm so stupid.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Fuck, I'm retarded. Yeah, they're making my most excited game for next year. Granted, you know, they're not they're publishing it, but I think they're also making some other shit too. I saw that they published that bolt gun game as well.
Mm-hmm.
And they're publishing John Carpenter's. So my two top
Look at that.
games.
They're pretty focused on you, huh?
Hey, they fucking. So I'm all about the focus. You know what I'm saying, son? I also need to
Fuck
go
yeah,
back and play
brother.
Plague Tale. I need to go play Insurgency Sandstorm too, because man, that game looks pretty cool. And the little bit we played at Fireteam Elite was really good too.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. I'm going through all their games right now, but yeah, very cool. Cool company. Focus. But yeah, that's all my pickups.
All right. I don't think my camera works good enough to do like you do, but I actually brought mine down for once physically since.
Oh shit.
So I ordered a couple things. Pretty exciting stuff here. Switch card charger.
Oh shit.
I haven't actually opened this yet, so you can't really. Not very exciting, but this is the N64 controller for the Switch that you can only buy if you're a Nintendo Online member. But it sells out pretty often. I've been wanting it, so I figured since it was in stock, I should get it. I also want to get the NES and Super Nintendo controllers, but 64 is definitely my favorite, so I thought I'd start there, and that seems to be the one that is in stock the least. And then I bought those digitally. I bought on some of the sales they were having. Bought a few things before the sale ended. I went on a little bit of a Christmas spree and hoped to stream them, but it's a little late now. I bought some good-looking Christmas games on PlayStation called Christmas Run, Christmas Fun, and the Grinch Christmas Adventures. The Grinch looks like the only one that is maybe a capable game, but the other ones were $2.99 and $5.99. And like I said, I was kind of just gonna. There's not many Christmas options. They look like they're fucking iOS games. They're so bad, but my Christmas options were slim, so I went for it. So I got that, and then on Xbox, which means you'll have them now too. I bought a Tree Pang 2 Deluxe Edition, the Fear Light game, and Alan Wake 2 Deluxe Edition. so you'll have both of those since we share accounts.
I would want both of those too. So
There you go.
those are only digital as well.
Yeah, that's Alan Wake. I kept talking about how during the stream of the Game Awards about how my phone because I still haven't played it. And last week we talked about the lack of sales. It's funny. I feel like that's definitely at least a contributor because you know how big of an Alan Wake fan I am. I think if it was physical, I would have bought it already. So I think even somebody that's as big a fan as me is a big reason why I haven't gotten it yet. And not even because I like only get physical. You know, I'm kind of in between on that. I'm not as much as you. But I think Alan Wake's just one of my favorite games I would like to have physical. And I think if I knew I could have seen it in a store, I would have gotten it without even thinking about it. And then Christmas gifts. Got this cute little guy that looks terrifying on camera. It's like the Master Chief thing you got me. The hold your phone. It's so funny because looking here, he looks so cute, and then as I held him up and said adorable, that just looks all kinds of terrible on there. My mom got me this thing. It's a stand for my headset that lights up, but it might actually be handy because my wireless headset kind of just leave floating around, so it might be a good idea to have a stand for it.
Yeah, I didn't. That a headphone stand was like something I picked up and I found one at Goodwill, and I was like, I don't think I'll use this, but I like the little ports on it to charge my phone. I use the fuck out of it now. It's very helpful and keeps shit pretty fucking organized. I put the charger right by it.
Oh, I don't have a charger built in though.
No, I run a cord out of it and then just plug right into it.
Yeah, I was gonna say
it has like USB ports.
Oh, okay, I got you. Yeah, I don't know if this does. I thought that'd be weird if it didn't, but check it out once I open it. I use the PlayStation upstairs so often for movies that I hate always having a controller charged, so got a little remote for it. And then double down, got the PS5 remote, you know. Getting back to the 360 days there. And then movies and games.
Oh, look at that little fucking stack. This is nice.
Got the new Avatar on 4K. Yeah, see, my camera's not picking up like yours. Also, is it background or is it backwards for you?
No.
That's weird. This gem here, Gran Turismo, mainly because I like collecting video game movies on 4K Blu-ray as well. And also because I love Neil Blomkamp, so part of why I got that. I have all his other movies. The Last of Us Season 1 on 4K Blu-ray. And then,
you remember the guy we chased down in Boston because we thought it was him?
Oh, that was not him. That was
David Bowie's son.
Yeah, I should know his name. I can always tell a story about how I talked to him.
The
Duncan Jones.
Duncan Jones.
Yeah.
That poor guy didn't even speak English. They're like full like German. Like Duncan, Wasserfluschen.
We always talk about how funny it'd be though if it was him. He's like, oh shit, put on the fake language.
Oh yeah, German.
He's like, oh god, this guy talked to me about the crew. Get out of here. The Last of Us Part 1. Obviously, I had The Last of Us and beat it, but this is like the redone version that brings it up to The Last of Us 2 standards. Listen to this, by the way. Spider-Man 2 Launch Edition, but listen to this. Oh, it's not coming through. It's not lighting up. That disc is just fucking floating in there, even though it's brand new. Pretty cool.
Hell yeah. What's the life it's going to live in your house? Do you have that stack of discs near you? You could show the camera?
No, I got it organized.
Okay, never mind.
I didn't even show you when you were over, and my camera setup's not very good. I rearranged down here and got a new entertainment center and stuff.
Nice.
Avatar, Frontiers, and Pandora. Pretty terrible name. That's why I had to look on Xbox. And then the biggest game on Switch, Everybody 1-2 Switch.
I didn't know that was a thing.
I just grabbed a stack of games. I can still hear that one disc through all those just fucking flying around. And I don't appreciate you taking shots at me. That's the name of our podcast, Current Backloggers. We know we got a lot of games to play, right?
Oh no, I just like your what is that called? Your wild rebellious nature with discs and a stack of discs that drive me crazy every time I see them. Like, oh god, they're gonna get scratched. They
Yeah.
just shuffle through them like a stack of cards.
I care about that a lot more. Like I said before, all it has to do is like read it. So I feel like you can, not that I go out of my way to scratch them, but I feel like I've seen discs so scratched you can barely see the surface and it still reads it. So as long as
Very
not
similar to something like this, and you're just like, all right, here is. Here's that was crazy because right when Hogwarts Legacy came out, and you're like going through this fucking stack of games. You're like, oh yeah, here's Hogwarts Legacy. I'm like, Jesus.
Yeah,
So
I used to be a lot more anal about that, but ever since they changed to reading the disc or not having to read the disc, just doing that, I mean, I feel like pulling them out of a case, I've cracked multiple discs doing that, and yet systems haven't been able to read it, and being somewhat flagrant with disc, I haven't had any issues there. So I get it as far as like collecting. Yeah, you don't want them scratched, even though it doesn't, even if it reads it perfectly fine. But yeah, that's my view on it. You want to talk about what you've been playing?
sure, yeah, I've just been playing a couple of things here. Still playing Borderlands with you. Still feel the same about it. Just running and gunning in that. And then I started Dragon's Dogma, the first one.
Mm-hmm.
I just absolutely got lost in the sauce in that game. Like today, I only slept. You're asking why I look tired or whatever. But before we started, I slept like 2.5 hours because I've just been sucked into Dragon's Dogma. And this is not even like the newer version for the series. I'm playing the launch copy from the 360. Just loving it. Run around the world. It does a lot of things a lot of RPGs doesn't do. Like this whole like climbing mechanic and the bosses. Yeah, I don't know. You collect these like spirit fuckers. I don't know, slaves. I don't know what the hell they are, but they are essentially companions. And you can go and hire new ones. You have one that is always with you that levels up, and then you can hire other ones that follow you around as it goes on. It's a very original take to RPGs. I'm really liking it. So I think if I had played it a little sooner, maybe the second one that's coming out soon might have made my games I'm excited for 2024. At least honorable mentions. Yeah, it's very, very original. I thought it was gonna be like a very like run-of-the-mill RPG, but I'm really enjoying it.
Nice. I looked it up. I've obviously heard of it many times. That game looks like, I'm surprised you even like it, but that looks not up my alley at all. I'm surprised you're into it.
Yeah, it's very like similar like Dragon. I like Dragon Age Inquisition.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Very similar game to that, or somewhere between that and a Gothica or something.
I gotcha. That's all for you?
That is all. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Like you said, obviously Borderlands. We just started that and gonna run through all the Borderlands, so it'll be quite the task there. Halo Infinite, as always, they started new operations, which are like the smaller seasons, which is winter / Christmas. But a lot of the unlocks are cool, but I'm definitely underwhelmed. I thought the levels be all like the trailers I sent you guys be decked out in like Christmas shit and winterized, and that seems very few and far between, which is a little sad. I was hoping for like an all-out winter update for it, even if it was just until Christmas. Played some more Warhammer Bolt Gun. Probably finish that by next time we talk. Like I said, I've purposely been doing it in bits, but probably finish that by next time we get on here. And then me and Dave started Mario Wonder last night. Me and you were going to do a podcast, but we did it today instead. So me and him started that up. And not even through the first world yet, but I am fucking loving it so far. It's quite delightful. There's something very unsettling, though, about there's these plants that you pass in the level, and they speak English, not just like in the text bubble. They speak English out loud. And even though it's delightful and charming, there's something that feels very horror-ish about it, which is, I don't think, intentional, but pretty funny. And I'm glad I'm playing it in co-op because I think those moments become a lot funnier, and the chaos is definitely more enjoyable with somebody else. Aside from that, I played a lot of different stuff with people over and family and everything. Played different versions of Jackbox all over the place. Got the VR out multiple times, played different things, and remind me again that I need to get more into VR and actually play stuff for real and not just. I like the quick pickup things, but find real games to play and even the pickup things, commit to those more. Part of the issue is the PSVR. I have a good setup for it, but still, just so much fucking work to get that thing going, and the frustrations of the things it's limited by, especially when you play something like Oculus and the wirelessness of it. Quest, Meta Quest. But on that too, you have the downside of the battery being fucking ass. So it's hard to get too into either of them. I have heard about battery packs that you can buy for the Quest that connect to the headset and can extend up to like 8 hours. So I think I'm going to start looking at those options and try to get more into it. Have you heard of this new Quest game? This RPG? I'm blanking on the name. That's why I'm prolonging here.
Quest RPG.
Yeah, people are losing their minds over it. It's actually the second one. I never heard anybody talk about the first one, probably because it was a Quest exclusive. But looking back at reviews, it was reviewed really well, so it doesn't seem like it's just something that people are hyping up now. It had
One called Swords of Gargantuan.
No, not that. It is a nerdy name like that, though. I don't think it's that bad.
A Township Tale.
It is Asgard's Wrath 2. The first one is obviously Asgard's Wrath. You should look it up. I think you would be. It's not on PlayStation, unfortunately, but the only downside, I don't know if this is my kind of game, but even saying that, I think it might be enough intrigue me just that a lot of people are saying it's the first game that's like truly what you would think VR should be, a regular game, not like a portion of it or like a dumbed down version. It's like a 40-hour RPG that feels like a real game and doesn't seem to have any limitations. So you should look it up. It sounds interesting. Like I said, that's much more appealing if they said it was like a 12-hour shooter. That'd be up my alley. But just hearing that there's a real full-fledged game, it's $60, and that seems to have no limitations beyond what a normal game would have, obviously, like issues and whatnot, I think sounds fucking cool.
Yeah, just watching a video. It does look pretty sick.
Yeah, I almost want to play the first one if I'm going to play the second one, because like I said, I did actually review well. I just never heard of it. But I feel like probably all the gameplay, everything probably improves in the second one. I doubt the story matters too much. That I just go to the second one and get the best possible version of it, and maybe watch a summary on the first one or something. Played some 1-2 Switch. Not everybody 1-2 Switch, but 1-2 Switch. I realized having family over, I feel like I don't get the Switch out with all the good party games it has and the Wii U like we used to do. So that's part of why I reorganized down here and want to try and get actual games going again. I love Jackbox, and that game's perfect for people who don't play a lot of games, but we used to play Smash Bros. And Mario Kart and all this stuff, and want to be able to do that kind of shit again. But I feel like I'm missing some games and definitely some shit that on my watch list, so I might have to add that too next week, because it was hard to keep track of shit. There's so many things like that where I was watching it or playing it here and there. But we can get into what we've been watching if you want.
Sounds good. You want to go first?
Sure, I'll do that. I saw 2 movies in the theater. I saw Wonka, which I was really excited going into it. I was shocked how good the trailer looked. I was really excited, and I think I've talked about here how, what's his name? Timothy Chalamet. Is that his name? I think so. I talked to him here about when we were doing Zelda, casting. How something about him gives me the creeps. But even saying that, I thought the trailer looked amazing. But watching the movie, Cody, don't see this movie if you have any interest in it. I think you're going to be very mad. It's a straight up musical, which I know the first movie had a couple songs, but it was not a musical. And I don't think the trailers gave any indication that it was going to be a musical. And I think the trailer is very well done and makes you think the movie's something that's not. I think the movie's okay, but I feel like I was constantly reminding myself that it was a Willy Wonka movie. I was totally forgetting it was. It didn't feel like Willy Wonka for like 90% of it. Not like the first 90% and then 10% felt like it at the end, but throughout it, like spurts of it, I feel like 90% of it didn't even feel like Willy Wonka to me. And then there's definitely, I think, something to make you even more mad on top of this. I think they definitely seem to work in that the one black girl in it is kind of the savior. Spoiler alert. Not really. And Wonka is kind of an idiot, and she helps him out. But it was more... That was a little annoying, but like I said, as long as something's well done, I don't really care, and doesn't seem too forced. But it was more so the other stuff that bothered me, that it was a full-on musical that didn't really feel like Willy Wonka. And I didn't even think the music was actually bad. I thought it was okay, or even some of it was really good. I think it would have been benefited from not being a Wonka movie, which is, I get why they made it Wonka, because that's literally the reason I saw it. If I'm being honest, I doubt I would have saw it without it being Wonka. But yeah, I was bummed. Did you have any plans of seeing it?
Renee loves the Wonka shit. What's that author of that book she likes that author
Oh
a lot.
God, I don't
As
know.
a kid.
I knew it was a book, but I only know it was the movies, really.
He's super famous. If I said it, you'd probably know. But that is fucking weird. So you ever heard the Dudesy podcast by Will Sasso?
Hmm.
He said, you're like, is Wonka or something like that, and maybe start thinking about their podcast, their AI. They have an AI-led podcast. It's a wild show. It's fucking hilarious. But the AI just started saying Chalamet is Wonka, and it kind of became a tagline for that show. And I wonder if that's where it got it from. I mean, I feel like it's been saying that for a minute, but I'm sure that movie's been in production for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Chalamet is Wonka. So when you said that, I was like, what the? And then you just immediately said Chalamet. I was like, what the fuck? Chalamet is Wonka? So and now that makes sense. I can't wait to tell Andrew. I was like, I feel like that's where it pulled it, because it's so random and weird to us.
Yeah. No, I'm sure it has to be what it's from
Chalamet
then.
is Wonka. Chalamet is Wonka. So, yeah, I wanted to watch it. Renee said her nieces wouldn't watch it, but now she told me it's a musical, because it has that dude Matt Lucas, which I think he's so fucking funny. He's from Little Britain. And Timothy Chalamet is funny. Hugh Grant's pretty cool. And then the guy that plays Mr. Bean, I see was in it.
Yeah, I didn't know he was in Toy Story.
So like all those things on paper, be like, yeah, I'd watch that. Go with Renee or something, but because you think Willy Wonka technically is a musical, the original 1971 one is, but yeah, no, that sounds awful.
Is it
Who's
classified
the-
as a musical? Because I feel like I only remember like 3 songs, and I feel like the majority of it isn't music.
I would say it's a musical.
Hmm.
I don't know. Let's see. Is a horror movie.
A little bit. It always creeped me out as a kid, even though I loved it.
I guess there is a musical, so maybe that's what that one's based off of. I mean, I will say, Roald Dahl is the author.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't know the name.
I would say that the Gene Wilder one is about as far as I would get. Chitty Chitty Bang Bang or Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory is about as far as I'd get into musicals. So if that's not even considered a musical, then that's that's as close as I'll get to a musical before I check out. So yeah.
I mean, it's been a while since I've seen Gene Wilder's Willy Wonka, and that's why I emphasize I know that there is music in that, because I know obviously there's some big time songs in it. But I feel like those are like a few moments in the movie. I feel like a musical is the centerpiece is music, and then there's kind of a story around it. And I don't feel like that's what Willy Wonka is at all.
Yeah.
Let me know what you think of it, though. It seems like people are really high on it, so maybe you'll feel totally different. Maybe you'll love it. And like I said, I didn't dislike it.
I have no plans of watching that. That would just have to come on.
No, okay, I got you. The other one I saw, which is another one I think you might like more than me, was Godzilla -1, which I totally forgot that we talked about that being subtitled till we went in there. And I was like, oh shit, this is totally going to be subtitles Japanese. And you know how I feel about that. I think it is easier with movies like this where the story isn't like the main push of it and it's more about the action. I think for me, I enjoyed it. It was good. I think it would have definitely helped to have it be English and like natural English too, not dubbed. I think it's almost more distracting sometimes. I think you might really enjoy it and like it more than I do. I will also say I don't want to get canceled here, but I feel like can't tell. I won't even say it's bad acting because I don't know if Japanese acting, different cultures acting so different, but I definitely laugh multiple times just by how different they act and how things sound, which I don't think that necessarily means it's bad acting. I think just our cultures are so different. But it's funny seeing those kind of things that are like supposed to be emotional moments. I'm not laughing because it's ridiculous, but just how they say things or how things are acted, I think come off a lot different in different languages.
Yeah,
go
this
ahead.
movie seems to critically done pretty well and financially done really well because guess what, Hollywood? You don't have to spend $1 billion to make a good movie. Whoa, is that crazy? What's the budget on this? Like 15 million or something?
Oh God, I have no idea.
It was really low. I wanted to go see it. I hear good things, but yeah, I want to check it out.
Yeah, let me know what you think, Lace. I wouldn't be surprised if you like it a lot more than I do, and I don't dislike it anyways, even with it being subtitled. Um, I'd have to go through Godzilla movies to look at it, but I definitely think there's a few that I like more than this easily. I got a funny story to tell you. It's not from the theater, so it's not a theater story, but it was going into the mall. I passed this handicapped dude that was in a scooter, like a wheelchair scooter, and he had the thing where his phone was propped up, like it was on a pole, and then in front of him, and he was just decked out in Jets stuff. He had Jets jersey on, green pants, a hat, a sideways Jets hat, but he was pretty handicapped, I'll say. But it was fucking awesome. He had his phone here, and just looking at Instagram models, just very little clothing, and
Oh,
just
fuck
scrolling
yeah.
through them. And it wasn't like he like had to look hard or like he was like off to the side. He planted himself like right in the middle of the mall walkway and just didn't give a shit at all. Just scrolling through and looking at him.
That's awesome, dude. That's almost like prank level. That dude does not give a fuck.
Yeah, it felt like a prank because I was laughing. I was trying obviously to hide it from him, but then one of his friends rolled up, literally, and then they started joking together. And I was like, "This, I feel there has to be a camera somewhere. This is fucking crazy." Um, and then the only thing I have on my list that is outside the theater, like so that's why I know I'm missing stuff, is the Santa Clauses, the series we talked about on here. It is not like the first season where it gradually got better and then a lot of the issues were solved. It kind of stayed the same all the way through. It was okay to bad, I'd say, which is sad with how good the Santa Claus movies are. At least those first three, especially two. And then I would say a bunch of sports. Pretty much no good news there as always for me the past few weeks. And like I said, I'm sure there's a lot of shit I'm missing in Christmas movies and shows and all kinds of stuff, but I'll just talk about those next week if I remember them. What about for you?
Christmas Day, I didn't do this on purpose, but I didn't watch Christmas Story, which
Mm-hmm.
probably haven't done since like the early 2000s.
Really?
Yeah. But I did have a little marathon in the morning. Watched Christmas Vacation again.
Nice.
Eight Crazy Nights.
Hell yeah.
And Christmas with the Cranks. So I mean, there's nothing to say about that. I mean, we've all seen those a fucking million times. Great movies. But then I started a series on HBO, which was probably. Well, we'll start with this other one on HBO. It's a movie on HBO. HBO. I went ahead and bought HBO again because I feel like enough time had surpassed. There's newer shit on there I wanted to watch. And Renee and I wanted to watch that cult documentary series about the mother. I mean, I forget what the fuck it's called. Something Love or some shit. That was pretty decent. But then I noticed there was a lot more documentaries on there now, so I've been going through those. I just finished one today called Meth Storm. It's about the meth problem in Arkansas, which easily became one of my favorite documentaries. I'd say at least top 25, top 15.
I could believe that.
Says a lot because I love documentaries. I mean, it's definitely in that style of mockumentary, dark humor. I don't know how else to describe it because it's just this small town just being totally fucking destroyed by meth, but it is funny in the way like Wonderful Whites of West Virginia is funny. They just fall around this meth family that is just accidentally hilarious. Like there's one brother that literally can't stay out of jail, and then every time he gets in jail, his mom just is so fucking sad. See, this doesn't sound funny. You gotta watch it, okay? It's just dark humor. It's just he's in this endless cycle of going to jail, and she's like, he always gets jailhouse religion. So always in there, he quickly gains like so even in this town, either you are morbidly obese and diabetic, or you do meth. And it's very easy. Like in the documentary, you watch the documentary, you're like, oh, that guy does meth because he's one of the skinny ones. So this guy goes to jail. He becomes like a huge Christian. He just starts writing his mom like, I found religion. God is the way. It's just been me and the Bible and shit like that. And then he immediately gains like 60 pounds. And then he gets out and he goes right back to jail. The documentary ends so fucking dark too, and sad, but it is quite the fucking adventure. And then his brother, and everybody lives in these homes that I thought were sheds, and then they'll go inside of them and I realize, oh my fucking god, they're living in there. I should have just took notes during all this. I didn't expect to like this as much as I did, but there's just scenes that just blow your fucking mind. Like they cut to the scene. I thought they were moving. She's moving into this house, so she's like, the mom, the matriarch of this group of meth heads. I would say she like takes care of everybody. She's I'm trying to remember the Wonderful Whites of West Virginia with that lady, Mama Sass or some shit. But she's moving into this trailer, and they had gotten a rear projection TV, which were like the fucking rave when we were kids. You know, those big screen TVs. And they clearly tried to get it into a room, and they just said fuck it and just ended up leaving it in the hallway. So I think that's what happened. So it's just I think it's her daughter or a friend. She's just started her meth journey. It's just so fucking sad. You could see like she's still like learning. They're like teaching her how to do meth and syringes and shit. So they're trying to get around this rear projection TV to go find the pills and drugs that she had stored in this room. And they're just like using their feet to move dog shit out of the way. I don't know. It's just a slice of life. And then her one son, he stays out of jail, but he is so fucking paranoid on meth. There's a scene where he's doing meth, and he's like walking around the house with a knife, like a big fucking flea market ninja knife. You know the ones I'm talking about?
Oh,
the ninja knives from flea markets. And he's like, "You see that out there?" And his mom's like, "Where? Where do you see it at?" She's been doing meth for a long time. She's well versed in like the shadow people and paranoia. So she's like, "I don't see anything." She's at the point of her addiction. She feels like she does meth just to be normal. But her son is just so whacked out, and he's just like walking around the yard with a fucking ninja mall knife, and think he's seeing shit outside. And he's got this whole part of the glasses is broken, so it's just their balance. He's just absolutely insane on fucking meth. And she's got one daughter who's got her shit together too,
Oops.
and she tries to take care of it. It's just a fucking wild ride. I really recommend this. There's a scene too where the paranoid son's looking around the room for syringes, and he's like shouting. He's like, "Mom, what are the little needles called? Or the smaller needles? What are they called?" And she just goes, "Small needles." And he goes, "Oh," and she's just like, "Idiot." It's just shit like that where you just fucking lose it. It's like accidentally funny. It's just mockumentary style. I don't know how to describe this. It's not as good as Wonderful Whites of West Virginia, but if you like that kind of shit, this in many ways is like a spiritual successor to it, like the Arkansas's version. Because it's also falling around the mayor. He's also I think part of the drug task enforcement or some shit. As they're trying to clean the town up, and it's this endless cycle of bullshit that really never really gets cleaned up.
Spiritual successor. What a wild thing to say for what this is.
Dude, Wonderful Whites of West Virginia might be one of my favorite documentaries. That's for me to say that's saying a lot about this.
No, I just think the spiritual successor is funny because that's usually something you use like somebody so in love with something that they want to be like that, and both these are.
Dude, oh, it's so good, man. I did not take good enough notes on just how funny this is and all over the place. This documentary is. Like she has a husband. She's trying to explain to him like he can't. He has diabetes, and what he can't do. And she's like, all his life he just eating cakes. And then he's like, well, I used to go down to TCB and get those 3 frozen yogurts. I used to do that all the time. I could do that. And she's like, no, that's got sugar in it too. Like she's just you could tell she's the smartest one of the meth addicts, and you could tell she's just like so tired of living in the circus, just surrounded by idiots. She kind of has her shit together for being a meth addict. She's definitely the glue for the family, and I love her. And her life is just fucking absolute sadness, especially at the end of it when she starts explaining more about her life and everything around her is falling apart. And that's kind of how the documentary ends. It's not a feel good documentary. It starts low and it just gets somehow just fucking digs an even deeper hole.
Yeah, I was gonna say I could see how that could be funny, but I feel like it might be a little too depressing for me.
It's a whoa, buddy. It's a trip, man. I fucking love this movie. These homes these people were living in, I don't know how the fuck they were doing it. There's one point where the cop is the cops raid this trailer and wake this meth head up out of a dead sleep, Casey. And it's like one of those scare pranks you see on YouTube where they're just overacted, but this guy is seriously that scared by everything that's going on. And then meanwhile, they arrest that guy and they put him out, and the cop is trudging through his fucking absolute cesspool of a trailer. And there's like no walls left, there's no insulation left in the trailer, it's just a shell. And the cop, in the middle of him trudging through all this shit, just looks at the camera. It's like a scene out of The Office, just looks at the camera and goes, could you imagine living in this shit? And it's just so fucking accidentally funny, dude. Just the whole comedy behind it. Just the cop just being surrounded and just had that like mockumentary look at the camera. Oh, damn, dude. What a great, it's just, I can't say enough about this. If you like documentaries, please go watch Meth Storm. Well, also, what a great fucking name for a documentary, Meth Storm. Sounds like a superhero or something. And then I watched something else that might be my favorite TV show of last year.
Okay.
It's called Telemarketers.
Okay.
It's a 3-part series on HBO. It's a documentary series. Both of these are kind of like Harmony Korine style, white trash, slice of life kind of things. Telemarketers about the conspiracy behind the Fraternal Order of Police using telemarketers to get money. Like they essentially scam old people into giving them money, and how it's kind of they kind of do it for politics now too as well to get around it. If you watch the documentary, I do a much better way of explaining it. How they kind of hire people out of halfway homes and people that can't get jobs or high school dropouts to essentially call people and harass them to donate to the Fraternal Order of Police, and the money does not go to the where it should.
Mm-hmm.
Like the telemarketers keep like 70%, 75%, 80%, and then the Fraternal Order of Police might get 15%.
Yeah.
But then you discover that they are not giving that money. So essentially none of this money is going to where it's supposed to, even with the politics shit. So it's Harmony Korine style, slice of life, documentary, conspiracy. It's like all my favorite things wrapped into one. This one's not as, I know it sounds sad, but it's not depressing. I think you would like this one, Casey. It's pretty interesting.
Okay.
The main guy in it is he's a heroin addict that it's like the only job he could have, and he was really good at it. So everyone in these telemarketing call centers too were like heroin addicts, and essentially how it started, they started filming this in like 2006 or something, like right at the beginning of the YouTube. So this was initially a YouTube channel the guy was running based on his wild job as a telemarketer. So it started out as a YouTube channel, and then it, over the years now, what is this, 20 years that they were filming, they just made it into a documentary. And it's really good. Like, they have this moment where the heroin addict goes to, like, he's clean at this point in the documentary, though. He's sober now. But he goes to, like, DC, and it's a very, like, Bruno, Ron Paul scene.
Uh-huh.
With one of the politicians, and you see how fucking evil and stupid DC is and how nothing gets accomplished there. Like when he's sitting down with the politician, you see how it's stupid and evil and corrupt.
Yeah.
I mean, I think as a government, we're pretty low on the corruption list, but it's still there, and it's pretty obvious in this documentary. But yeah, telemarketers, meth storm. Go get HBO, watch both of those. I was just like, dude, I was searching. I was like, man, I need documentaries. It's just such a fucking like desert for documentaries for me right now. I need this slice of lifestyle documentaries. I'm so tired of the Netflix true crime bullshit, the murder shit that all Netflix does anymore, or a lot of documentaries are. I get there's a lot of money in that. I think there's gonna be. I think that's a bubble. I think that's ready to burst.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to a guy when I was doing some of that filming shit, and he does Netflix documentaries in general. I was like, oh, dude, that's fucking sick. It's a little like a dream of mine. Like, he's like, it's kind of just fucking true crime, murder shit all the time. So, I guess that's kind of what sells.
Yeah.
And these slice of life shits barely pop up. They're my favorite.
I hear you.
YouTube used to be a good outlet for it, but even YouTube slice of life shit's kind of few and far between.
Mm-hmm.
So I've just been really enjoying HBO Max. I think after their restructuring, I know there's a lot of lost media now because of what they did,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's bullshit and not okay. Even some of the shit was absolute propaganda and asinine Velma, whatever the fuck that should have been never made in the first place. But I think HBO is in a good spot for me personally.
No, I got you. And that's all for you?
Yep.
All right. We can get to listening and reading books. I finished Iron Flame, the sequel to The Fourth Wing. That book that I was telling you about that is very Harry Potter, Game of Thrones, for some reason 50 Shades of Grey, mixed up all up in there. It was about, I feel about the same as I did the first one. So I moved on to other things after finishing that. A little thing called The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring. I don't know if you've heard of that one.
No.
No? Yeah.
That Amazon series?
So I'm listening to that. It's a longer book, so I also I usually listen to one book at a time, but these are very different, so it's easy to do. My Wrexham Story by Paul Mullen, a player from Wrexham AFC, the team that is in the Welcome to Wrexham documentary. I feel like saying this sounds all redundant, but it's like the only way to explain it. I think so far it's a really good book. I think this is definitely something that you would only like if you watch the show and or maybe into soccer. I think the show you could like even if you don't really care about sports. I think it's interesting, but the book I think is definitely something that would only be interesting if you're already into the show or soccer, like I said. Um, and then Lord of the Rings is good. I've never actually read the books or obviously listening to them now. So it's interesting to hear the book because there's so much more, just because they're so much fucking longer, not because the movies are bad. Like I said, that's why I hate when people get mad that the movies aren't books because books are fucking 15 to 30 hours when movies are, even movies as long as the Lord of the Rings are like 3 hour movies.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm listening to both of those just because they're both so totally different. Obviously, one's fiction and deeper, and one's real stories and kind of not really lighthearted. There's some dark stuff in there, but kind of like you said, like everyday stuff. So liking both of those, and that's what I'm reading now. You reading anything or listening?
No, not at all. I want to get back into that one I was reading from. Damn it. What is the guy's? He's like the mastermind behind so much music. I know I want to go down that rabbit hole again, but I'm loving it so much. The Creative Act. By what the fuck is his name? Oh
You might
god, as soon
laugh
as
at me. Is it Rick Rubin?
Rick Rubin, yeah,
Oh, it
yep.
is? Okay.
Yeah.
So I know he's
That
all...
dude is he's if I could like I don't know. I've been telling people like even if you do like this the tiniest piece of art, like if you just dab, this is a fucking hobby, like which is what my video making is just that a hobby. But even something like basing on that, I'd even recommend it for you, man.
Okay.
It's like his whole process. Like I was interested when god damn Andrew Dice Clay
Mm-hmm.
was talking about filming or recording the day comedy died with him, which is I think one of the I think most comedians say it's like some of their favorite stand up.
Mm-hmm.
Just like anti comedy, I don't know how to describe it. He had me interested in his mindset because he was like talking about the hell he put him through and the dude just never broke, and like his process of making that and
Mm-hmm.
his personality.
I got you.
So yeah, I want to get back into that.
Are you listening to that or are you actually reading it?
Listening to it.
Okay.
And Rick Rubin's got the perfect voice, I think, for audiobooks. And he reads his own audiobook, which I think is awesome. Like fucking already makes those books 100 times better when it's the author reading it.
So does Paul Mullen. Let me play a second of it so I can see how much you hate it.
That's the Wrexham guy?
Yeah. He's a player, so you don't hear him as much in the show, but I can't wait to hear how much you'll hate this.
We've been joking about how we were going to go out every night. It's a stag do. Two of the lads had actually got married not long before.
Do it.
No,
down here. Won't have it on it.
I literally thought of you as I started the audiobook. I was like, oh man, Cody would fucking hate this.
Oh, they don't want asshole. Yeah.
Especially because it sounds like.
Sorry, go ahead.
Not even just the accent. I think it's probably because he's trying to make sure he says all the words and he's not like a natural audio reader like that. But I feel like he sounds like he's almost slow the way he's reading it on top of his accent.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I couldn't do it. I mean, me and Ryan, our mutual friend, my lover, Ryan, was just talking about that. There's this YouTuber I like a lot, Count Dankula. You probably know him. He was the guy that got arrested in England for making his
oh yeah,
dash down, do the Nazi salute. I think right now there's also a teacher arrested for. I think he's in prison right now for saying. I need to look more into this for saying there's only two genders. He's a teacher. I'm pretty sure he's in prison right now, or in jail over there. So, what a great country. But Count Dankula, I love his videos should be right up my alley, but I can't fucking listen to him. And one of his friends I thought was dead for months because he was I'll say kidnapped. He was in a Taliban jail for months on end. And I was like, yeah, he's definitely dead. And the Taliban was like updating his Twitter, like, I love the Taliban. Afghanistan's been very hospitable. That's not what they're saying, but essentially that's what they're saying. I was like, yeah, he's fucking, they beheaded him. And that's their Twitter now. But they released him and he came back, and Count Dankula did a podcast with him, or an interview. I was like, I'm going to listen to this, and shouldn't right up my alley. And I can't fucking do it, man. So even like content I like, like, well, so I'm gonna, and it's like I can understand 10% of what you're saying. How'd you guys create the language and fuck it up so bad? Like I can understand every American accent. I can understand Indian accents. I understand every country that adopted your language except for the originator's language. Like, I found a guy, I've been hate watching him because of the accent. He like reviews food in England, and England just got Popeyes. And when I tell you, he's like pulling into Popeyes. Oh man, down here, oh, hey, Popeye chicken, Popeye chicken. Oh man, down here, pocket here, down here, pocket here, down here, Popeye chicken. Popeye's chicken. I could only understand. I was like, you fucker. You shut your fucking mouth, dude. It's another language. It's some of those accents from England, and like if it's subtle or like certain, like I think it's the Cockney accents that really piss me off. Like because you asked me about Game of Thrones, like how did I watch that? It's so subtle, I don't even notice it. I can understand them. They're like enunciating. It's fluid. It's not all of these like they're dumb phrases for shit. Like they call it a chicken hamburger. Chicken hamburger. How the fuck a chicken burger? That's what it is, chicken burger. A chicken burger? How do you can't have a fucking burger without beef. You're saying nonsense. It's a chicken sandwich. A chicken burger?
At least to be fair, in Wales, at least a lot of them have another language, or English is even their first language. But yeah, a lot of them, it's just literally just an accent, and that's how they talk.
They put my chicken burger on the hot hob. That's fucking ridiculous, dude. So yeah, there's no Oculus in that book. I'm never doing it.
I ain't doing it. Anything else you want to talk about before we get out of here?
No, let me before I teacher arrested.
I heard about this, but I never, unless I
I'm
take
sure
the time.
On my ass.
I don't know what the fuck is real anymore unless I take time to look into it. So that seemed like could be real or total clickbait.
Yeah, I can't find anything about it now, so you have to Google it, okay? If Cody says something, you always have to go to Google and do your own research, okay? I have a bad habit of reading article titles, making up shit, so just take it as it is, you know? Just here it is. Is this it? Okay, Irish teacher in prison for continuing to teach after refusing to use gender-neutral pronouns. An Irish teacher was put in prison after he refused to use gender-neutral pronouns. So he continued to teach after he told he wasn't allowed to teach because he wouldn't use gender-neutral pronouns. But yeah, so I believe he's still in prison, so that's awesome. That's really cool. That happens in Western society. That's what happens when you don't have a constitution and you can't fucking pronounce and use your own language that you invented. So, awesome. Also, it's not a chicken burger. That doesn't make any sense, those two things together. The chicken sandwich. It's not chips. It's chicken chips. It's just shut your mouth. It's not fucking chips. When there's chips, they're not crisps. I don't know where the disconnect is. But yep.
All right, I have a few things before we get out of here. One thing, so it's just not something that has to come up next week. I had meant to ask you, Avowed. Is that not something you're interested in? I thought you'd be all about that.
It was definitely on my my initial list. Like thinking about games without looking up games. Mm-hmm. Avowed was number 5.
I got you.
But as I went on, I was like, I watched trailers of it, and I was like, because what was their Fallout game?
Not 76. New Vegas.
No. I'm sorry. Their spiritual successor.
Oh, Outer World. Those
Outer
couple
Worlds. That
names
did
are
not
very
hold
similar,
me.
but
That game did not hold me like Fallout games do for some reason. I'm sure it's great, and I should have stuck with it. But I'll give Avowed a go, especially because it's free.
yeah, Outer Worlds is a sad one because I did love it and I didn't drop off because I was sick with it. Just so many games, and I feel like it'd be so hard to go back to that now without restarting it. And I was made a good way into it. But yeah, I was surprised because, like I said, that's not even really my genre of games. I can only handle so much of that world, and it was still a contender for me. So I thought that you being in a Elder Scrolls guy, that'd be near top for you. But that makes sense. I'm a little sad that I didn't make a joke last week or 2 weeks ago about we'll see you next year. I don't think either of us did that, did we?
No, we haven't. This is our first episode.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like
Our
to
only episode of the year that we've recorded this year. We need to get better about recording, Casey.
that is true. We missed our first day already because we did it the next day. Look at us,
dude.
The only other thing, we'll take a minute here because it's our awards for this year. Just going to list what they are, so if you want to do along with us.
Oh, shit. Yeah, let me pull this up. Oh, I guess we have the same list.
Yeah, you're good. No worries. Yeah, if you guys want to do along with us or just know what we're keeping track of throughout the year. So there's quite a few categories. Game of the year, backlog game of the year, which that means anything that any game that you played this year that came out another year. And me and Cody agreed that not just like you picked up and played it or you finished the last level, but you started it this year or at least played majority of it this year. And we have a backlog category in pretty much all of them, so that would apply pretty much every backlog category. Worst game of the year, Xbox exclusive, Nintendo exclusive, PlayStation exclusive, multiplayer exclusive game, remake/remastered, funniest game, VR backlog game, so there's that again. Movie of the year, backlog movie of the year, show of the year, backlog show of the year, documentary of the year, backlog documentary of the year, book of the year, backlog book of the year, album of the year, and YouTuber of the year. That's everything, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so obviously that won't be till the end of the year till we actually talk about it, but I know we haven't been able to do it like we used to, so we're going to try and get back to it. So that's the plan. Anything you want to say before we get out of here?
No.
Nothing at all?
Free that Irish teacher. I don't know what else to say.
And let's take a trip to Wales together.
I'd do that.
Oh, I mean, I'd definitely be down, but I was hoping you freak out on me there. I'm a little sad, but no, I'm sure
you go over there and teach them English.
I bet you they love that. Let's do it. All right.
They could understand me. Yeah, if they could understand me.
All right. Well, as we always say, peace out.
Bye.